So hey there, Valentine's Day is around the corner and I'm going to show you how to make cheesecake for your Valentine's sweetie. So hey there, welcome to my curls. My name is Renee and this is my kitchen. I love to cook, and do I have something special for you? Have you ever noticed that when people go out to restaurants and they see cheesecake on the menu, everybody goes crazy. They always want to order the cheesecake, but nobody ever wants to make cheesecake at home. It's because you think it's too difficult, you have to have special equipment, you gotta go spend money on a springform pan. I'm gonna show you a super simple recipe that I love. I've been making it for years so that you can make cheesecake for your sweetie for Valentine's Day. And I have a special treat. One of my sweeties is gonna help me in the video today. Look, it's the bee girl! She's gonna cook with me today. She loves this cheesecake. She's been helping me make it since she was little. And the best thing is, you can turn this recipe into so many different flavors. So Brecken, what is your favorite flavor of cheesecake?
My favorite is Oreo.
I'm gonna say Heath Bar. If my husband was here, he would say Reese's. And if my other daughter was here, she would say something with fruit, like a banana cream or something. So my recipe's got you covered. We're gonna make 4 different flavored cheesecakes out of one recipe, all in the same muffin tin, easy breezy, and you can have it ready for your sweetie for Valentine's Day. So let's get to cooking.
For the graham cracker crust, these are the ingredients you'll need. 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs, 4 tablespoons of sugar, half a stick of melted butter that we're gonna melt whenever it's time to use. For the cheesecake, these are the ingredients you'll need. 2 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese. You want to make sure that your cream cheese is room temperature or your cheesecake won't be as creamy. 1 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 2 eggs. Now you just need your ingredients for your cheesecake however you choose to flavor it. So we have Reese's, Oreo, and Heath. If you want to do fruit, you'll top it after your cheesecake has cooled, but don't bake it in your cheesecake. You need 1 piece of cookie or candy for each cheesecake, so since we're doing 4 of each, we have 4 Reese's and 4 Oreo. You'll need 2 muffin pans. This recipe makes 16 muffins, but it's very easy to cut in half if you just want to make 8. Cupcake liners. These are very important because it's kind of hard to get your cheesecake out of the tin if you don't use liners, and today we're using gold ones for Valentine's Day. Now we're ready to make our cheesecake. So the first thing you do is fill your cupcake pan with the paper liners. So to make our crust, you need a small mixing bowl. First, you're gonna add 1.5 cups of graham cracker crumbs. Now add your 4 tablespoons of sugar and half a stick of melted butter. And mix it all together. Oh, this smells so good. So you gotta make sure that all your butter is incorporated, and you can see it kind of turns to more of a darker golden brown. So now you're going to evenly spoon your graham cracker crust into your muffin tin. So after you've filled up your muffin tins, you're just going to want to take the back of your spoon and press it down evenly to make the crust. Alright, so now you can see I've evenly patted it down, and now we have 16 muffin pans ready for the cheesecake.
So now we're ready to make our cheesecake, and we're gonna prep our flavor ingredients that are gonna go inside. So today we're doing Reese's peanut butter cups, Oreos, Heath Bar. So I just bought these little individual Reese's and I'm just gonna chop them up. And you need 1 per cheesecake that you're gonna make of that flavor. So I'm gonna do 4 Reese's, so I need 4 Reese's. So just a rough chop. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. And I know it sounds like a good idea to put your whole Reese, just to drop it in your cheesecake. Oops. But by the time your cheesecake cools off and you put it in the fridge, it's kind of hard to bite into a whole really cold Reese, so I prefer to chop these up. So it's kind of like that.
Okay, so now I'm going to do the Oreo. I have 5. I just did an extra one so we can add some toppings. And so I just take a plastic bag and I'm just going to crush them up with a meat mallet.
And then I'm going to do Heath Bar, and instead of crushing up a Heath Bar, we always have these in our kitchen. It's just Heath Bar that's already granulated for me, so I'm just going to use some of this. Looks like that. In a large mixing bowl, we're going to whip our 2 blocks of room temperature cream cheese. So now you're going to beat your 2 blocks of cream cheese with an electric mixer until it is all whipped together and creamy. No lumps. So it's all incorporated, there's no lumps, it's all smooth and perfect. I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar. Add 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And we're going to mix this together one more time. It's all creamy and everything's incorporated together. Now we're going to add 2 eggs, 1 at a time, beating between each egg. Okay, so this is what we have. A sort of soupy, eggy looking cream cheese mixture that is ready to go. So this is going to become our cheesecake. So now is the fun part. We're going to flavor our cheesecakes. So we have the Oreo cookies that we crushed up. We have Heath Bar toffee bits. And we have Reese's. We're going to do 4 of each flavor and we're going to leave 4 plain. Spoon a little of your mixture, and I'm going to do 1 row of each. That way I can keep track of what is what flavor. So spoon your mixture in on top of your graham cracker crust. And I'm going to reserve a little bit for my topping to use after the cheesecake have cooked. Next is Oreo. And then my Reese's. So my cheesecakes look like that. Now we're going to spoon our cheesecake mixture on top of all of our goodies and we're going to bake it. So we're going to evenly distribute the cheesecake. And don't disturb your crushed goodies inside. Make sure that they're completely covered by your cheesecake mixture. You just don't want to stir it. You don't want to bring that stuff to the top. So you want to make sure that all of your cookies or candies or whatever's in there are completely covered by your cheesecake. Don't overfill your cheesecake, but you do want to fill them almost to the top of your paper cup. When you bake your cheesecake, it really doesn't rise. It will just a smidge, but not much. That's why you can fill it almost to the top. So you need to make a note of what flavors you put in what cup. So this is my Heath, my Oreo, and because Oreo's a cookie, I'm just gonna dabble a smidge. Not a lot, just enough on there so that when these come out of the oven, I know which ones are Oreo. So I'm gonna stick a toothpick on the side of one of my muffin cups. This is my marker for my Heath, my Oreo, and my Reese's. Now let's get these in the oven. So I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees, and because I'm doing 2 pans, I'm going to turn them this way. I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. So my cheesecake are in the oven. They're going to cook a total of 20 minutes. But after 10 minutes, I'm gonna turn my pan. So they're in there, 350 degrees. I have my timer set for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back and check on them. And like I said, your cheesecake really is not gonna rise, and you don't wanna overbake your cheesecake. When you do, it starts to get dry, it'll start to crack on the top. So once we get to the last 2 or 3 minutes, we're gonna keep a close eye on our cheesecake. Bake it for another 10 minutes and then they should be done. It's been 20 minutes. See how they're starting to crack? They're done. We need to get them out of here. So my cheesecake is out of the oven. Remember, I marked my Heath with this little toothpick. So I've got Heath, Oreo, and Reese. And see how they're already starting? They were a little risen when we got them out of the oven, but see how they've already flattened back out? Look, they didn't rise at all. And those cracks that we saw, see how they're starting to close back up? After these have set to cool for a couple minutes, those cracks will disappear. And honestly, it doesn't matter because we're gonna put some goodies on top anyway. But just let your cheesecake sit until it is completely cooled. So the cheesecake have been out about 40 minutes at this point. You can see they kind of sunk back down. That's why you need to fill them level with your little paper cups before you cook them. So these are ready to come out and we're going to put toppings on them. So to get these out of here, we're going to do it very gently with a knife. Just put a knife on the outside of the cheesecake and just pull them out. You'll see I have a little heart-shaped platter for Valentine's. So for our toppings, we're going to add more Oreo. Just kind of crumble them on top, just like that. Don't put a whole bunch. Then a little Heath. This just lets you know what they are. And my Reese. I'm out of Reese. Yeah.
Pogs. You Pogs, what's a cupcake? Pogs is my sweetie.
Don't these look so good? So what you can do with your plain cheesecake, if you want to put fresh fruit on it, maybe a little whipped cream, you could do bananas, strawberries, you could do chocolate syrup, or you can just eat them plain. There are so many people who just want plain cheesecake. That's why I always make a couple. Look how good those look. I've got my Heath, my Oreo, my Reese, and my plain. Now that these are topped, we want to put them in the fridge. Nobody wants to eat a warm or room temperature cheesecake, so you want to put them in the fridge for a couple hours, get them nice and cool, and then serve them to your sweetie. This is Oreo. You can see your graham cracker crust, your layer of Oreos inside, and then your cheesecake. Ooh. Ooh. She can't even wait. She's eating one now.
Oh, good.
Look at that. Aren't these the absolute cutest, sweetest little, perfect individual sized cheesecakes to give your sweetie for Valentine's Day, or really any time that you want. Do whatever flavor suits you. They are so perfect and so easy. And thanks for joining us in the kitchen today, me and my sweetie. Now I'm going to give Randy Reese's for sure. I'm going to eat the Heath. And what are you going to do with yours?
I'm going to have the Oreo, and I'm going to bring my boyfriend the Oreo too.
Thank you for joining us in the kitchen today for a little Valentine's treat. Now we're going to dig into some cheesecakes. See you later.